Life is full of twists, turns, and unforeseen events. But I want you to consider this: what if everything that has happened, is happening, and will happen is part of something much greater? What if every single moment in your life, every success and setback, is unfolding according to a plan far more significant than we can fully comprehend right now? That's the beauty of what we call God's plan for our lives. At times, we may find ourselves questioning the direction we are headed. Life's challenges can feel overwhelming, and the future might seem unclear. But what if I told you that in every moment of uncertainty, God is still at work? What if those struggles, those difficult moments, are actually part of a carefully woven design meant to shape and refine you into the person you are meant to be? It's easy to feel lost when we can't immediately see the outcome of our actions. It's easy to want instant clarity and to have all the answers in front of us right now. But here's the powerful truth: God's plan often reveals itself over time. It's not about knowing everything right away. It's about trusting the process. There are seasons in life where you won't see the full picture, but when you look back, you'll realize that each piece, each chapter, has been building upon the last. In those moments when life feels like it's not going as planned, remind yourself it's not about your plan, it's about God's plan. His plan is always unfolding in ways that we may not understand at the moment, but it is for our good, it's for our growth. Every experience, whether good or bad, is a stepping stone to something greater. The key here is patience, trusting the process and knowing that God's timing is perfect, even when you don't feel like it is. The truth is, every delay, every pause in your life is an opportunity to grow stronger in faith and deeper in understanding. It's in those waiting periods that you begin to see life from a different perspective. You begin to see that the struggles were not just challenges, but opportunities to develop perseverance, character, and wisdom. But even more importantly, God's plan is not just about the destination. It's about the journey. It's about how you evolve, how you transform, how you come to understand the world and your place in it. You see, there is purpose in every moment, and sometimes that purpose is realized only when you look back and see the bigger picture. So today, take a moment to reflect. Look at your life from a broader perspective. See how far you've come and know that every step has been part of something divine. You might not know where the next step leads, but take it with faith. Trust that God's plan for your life is unfolding one moment at a time. You don't have to have everything figured out today. It's okay to not have all the answers, but you can choose to have faith in the process, knowing that where you are today is exactly where you're meant to be. And as you move forward, remember this: the journey might be long, but every step you take, every choice you make, is leading you closer to the purpose God has set out for you. Keep going, keep trusting, keep believing. God's plan for your life is unfolding right before your eyes, and one day it will all make sense. Trusting the process is one of the most powerful concepts in life. It's a belief that not everything needs to make sense in the moment, and that we can find peace in knowing that there's a bigger plan at work. In the fast-paced world we live in, it's easy to become frustrated when things don't go as expected or when we can't immediately see the outcome of our actions. We live in a culture that emphasizes immediate results and instant gratification. We often expect to see the fruits of our labor right away. But the truth is, most significant outcomes take time. Trusting the process means understanding that some things are outside of our control and that there is value in letting things unfold in their own time. Life's journey is not always a straight line. Sometimes the path we think we should be on veers off in unexpected directions, and that can be unsettling. But it's important to remember that every detour is part of a larger picture, a picture that we might not fully comprehend at the time. The purpose of our lives is much bigger than any immediate goal or obstacle. And trusting the process involves accepting that we don't always need to know what's around the corner. It's also about faith. Faith that even when things don't make sense, we are exactly where we need to be at this moment. There are times when life can feel frustrating or discouraging because we don't see the results we hoped for. However, the belief that there is a purpose to every situation, whether we understand it or not, allows us to stay grounded in the present. When we trust the process, we begin to understand that each experience, no matter how small or seemingly insignificant, contributes to our growth and prepares us for what lies ahead. This belief does not mean passive resignation or ignoring our responsibilities. It's not about sitting back and waiting for life to unfold without effort. Instead, trusting the process is about active trust. It's about doing what we can with faith that the actions we take are leading us toward something greater. Even when the outcome is unclear, trusting that each step is building towards a purpose allows us to continue moving forward with conviction. It's about showing up every day, doing our best, and letting go of the need to control the timing and outcome. In our lives, we often face challenges that seem impossible to overcome. There are seasons where we feel stuck, unsure of the next step, or doubting whether we are on the right path at all. Yet, if we take a step back and look at the bigger picture, we often realize that the process itself is where the transformation occurs. We may not always understand why we're going through a particular experience, but it's in those moments that we build the resilience, the strength, and the wisdom needed for future growth. There's a reason why people often say that the best things in life are worth waiting for. Most of the time, this rings true because growth is a slow process. Think about it. The most successful and fulfilled people you know likely didn't get to where they are overnight. They faced challenges, failures, and detours. But through it all, they trusted the process, knowing that each experience was preparing them for what they were meant to become. Sometimes, when we try to force things to happen or rush through the process, we miss the lessons hidden in the moments that challenge us. The difficulty in life often teaches us more about ourselves, our character, and our capacity for resilience than the easy times ever could. Trusting the process means embracing those challenges instead of fearing them, knowing that every moment is an opportunity for growth. It means learning patience, humility, and understanding that not everything happens according to our timeline. When we allow the process to unfold, we also give space for creativity, innovation, and unexpected opportunities. We may start off thinking we want one thing only to find that the detours in our path lead us to something even greater. When we trust the process, we open ourselves to the unexpected beauty of life's journey. It's in those moments when we stop trying to control everything that the most miraculous things often happen. By trusting the process, we shift our focus from immediate results to long-term growth. Instead of obsessing over where we want to be in the future, we learn to appreciate where we are right now. And through that appreciation, we build a sense of peace and contentment that allows us to continue moving forward with purpose. We begin to see that life isn't just about reaching a destination, it's about how we evolve along the way. The beauty of trusting the process is that it frees us from the anxiety of needing everything to happen right now. We learn to enjoy the journey and take comfort in knowing that every moment contributes to a greater purpose. Life is not about rushing to the finish line. It's about savoring the lessons, the people, and the growth along the way. And when we trust the process, we align ourselves with a deeper sense of peace and understanding, knowing that the best things often come when we least expect them. In the end, trusting the process is a mindset shift. It's a choice to release the need for control and embrace the unknown with faith. It's a decision to trust that life's challenges, setbacks, and delays are not obstacles, but opportunities for growth and transformation. When we trust the process, we invite a sense of peace into our lives, knowing that we are not alone on this journey, and that there is a bigger plan unfolding with every step we take. Having unwavering faith in the belief that God's plan is unfolding in your life is one of the most empowering concepts to embrace. It means recognizing that despite the ups and downs, the uncertainties, and even the apparent setbacks, there is a purpose and intention in everything that happens. It's easy to doubt and question when things aren't going the way we envisioned, especially when life seems full of challenges and struggles. But the truth is, faith isn't about having all the answers or understanding everything that happens in the moment. Faith is about trusting in a greater purpose that is beyond our immediate comprehension. When we place our faith in God's plan, we are surrendering control. We are admitting that we don't know everything and that we can't always see the bigger picture. But in doing so, we open ourselves to the understanding that the path we are walking, even if it doesn't make sense right now, is leading us somewhere important. It may not always be the place we thought we would end up, but it will always be the place we need to be. Faith allows us to trust that even in our most difficult moments, there is something greater at work, one of the biggest struggles many people face is accepting the timing of God's plan. There are times when we want things to happen immediately, and it's hard to understand why things aren't falling into place when we think they should. We might ask ourselves, why now? Why not sooner? Why not in a way I imagined? But God's timing is perfect, and although it may seem slow or different from our expectations, it is always intentional. Often, we are not ready for what is coming. We need to grow to develop new skills or to mature emotionally before we are ready to handle the blessings or challenges that are coming our way. God's plan doesn't unfold in an instant, and that's okay. Sometimes the delays we face are not roadblocks but opportunities to grow in ways we wouldn't if everything happened right away. Faith in God's plan also requires trust in the unknown. It's easy to have faith when things are going well, when we can see how everything is connecting and how things are falling into place. But the real test of faith comes when we can't see the end goal, when everything around us feels uncertain. It's during these moments that trusting in God becomes more important than ever. Faith means trusting that even when we can't see the outcome, it is still being orchestrated for our good. It means understanding that we are not walking this journey alone, and that God is with us every step of the way, even when it feels like we are in the dark. The power of faith lies in its ability to shift our perspective. When we have faith in God's plan, we begin to see life differently. We stop focusing solely on what we don't have or what isn't going our way. Instead, we start focusing on what we can learn from each moment, on how we can grow through every experience. Faith allows us to trust that the difficulties we face are not meaningless. They are part of a process that is molding us into the people we are meant to be. The challenges become opportunities for us to develop qualities like patience, resilience, compassion, and understanding. Trusting in God's also means embracing the idea that we don't have to have everything figured out on our own. Often, we put so much pressure on ourselves to have a clear roadmap for life. We want to know what's next, where we're going, and how we're going to get there. But faith teaches us that we don't need to have all the answers. In fact, we never will. Life is full of surprises, and sometimes the best thing we can do is simply trust that we are exactly where we are supposed to be at each moment. It's about surrendering the need for certainty and embracing the beauty of the unknown. When we trust that God's plan is unfolding, we begin to experience peace in knowing that we don't have to do everything on our own. We are part of something much larger than ourselves. Every moment, every decision, and every encounter is part of a divine design that is beyond our understanding. And although we may never fully see the entirety of that plan while we're living it, we can find comfort in knowing that it is perfect and that it is leading us towards something greater than we could ever imagine. Faith in God's plan is also about believing that the path ahead will not be without difficulties, but that those difficulties are necessary. The moments of struggle, pain, and frustration are not signs that God has abandoned us. Instead, they are part of the shaping and refining process. Just as a piece of clay must be molded and shaped by a potter, we too must go through experiences that shape us into the people we are meant to become. In those difficult moments, faith reminds us that we are not alone, that God is at work, molding us into something beautiful. Faith also allows us to remain hopeful. Even when things seem bleak, when the road ahead feels uncertain, faith tells us that there is always hope. It reminds us that no matter how hard the journey may be, it is leading us to a purpose, and the end result is always worth it. The joy, peace, and fulfillment that comes from knowing we are walking in alignment with God's plan is beyond measure. And while we may not always understand how or why things unfold the way they do, we can rest assured that God's plan is always working for our good. In the end, having unwavering faith in God's plan requires letting go of our desire to control everything. It requires trust, surrender, and patience. But the reward is a life lived with purpose, direction, and peace. Even in the unknown, we can trust that we are exactly where we are supposed to be, and that every step is part of a larger design. Patience in action is a concept that truly transforms the way we approach life. It's about recognizing that not everything in life will happen according to our timeline or our expectations, and yet it's in the waiting that we often grow the most. Patience isn't just a passive experience of waiting. It is an active practice of trust, faith, and understanding that God's timing is perfect. We often hear the phrase, "Good things come to those who wait," but it's important to realize that the waiting itself is a process filled with lessons and experiences that shape us into who we are meant to become. In today's world, we are accustomed to fast results. We expect things to happen quickly, from instant responses on our phones to fast food that's ready in minutes. This culture of instant gratification can make it difficult to embrace the slower, more deliberate pace at which life often unfolds. Patience in action is the opposite of rushing through life. It's the ability to take a step back and trust that the things we are waiting for will come at the right time. This doesn't mean we sit idly by and do nothing. It means we stay engaged in the process, taking each step with purpose, but understanding that the outcome will unfold when the time is right. In the context of God's plan for our lives, patience is vital. Often, we cannot see the entire picture or understand why certain things happen when they do. There are times when we feel like we are stuck, or when it seems like we're waiting endlessly for something to change. But the beauty of patience in this sense is that it allows us to trust that everything is happening according to a divine timetable. We may not know why certain things happen in a particular order, or why some of our prayers seem unanswered, but when we learn to embrace patience, we shift our perspective from frustration to faith. We understand that God is never late, He is always right on time. The key is to stay patient, to continue trusting, and to believe that the right outcome will come at the right time. Patience in action also requires us to let go of our need for control. In a world where we often believe that we must do everything ourselves and force things to happen, practicing patience is a reminder that we are not in control of everything. We can make decisions, we can work hard, but there are aspects of life that are beyond our grasp. By being patient, we learn to surrender to the greater plan and to trust that things are unfolding as they should. This surrender is not a sign of weakness, but rather a sign of strength, as it takes courage to trust in something greater than ourselves, to let go of the desire to manipulate every situation, and to rest in the assurance that the process is unfolding as it should. There is also a profound beauty in the idea that patience teaches us the value of small, incremental progress. We often look at success as something that happens in an instant or in a single, dramatic moment. But the reality is that most of the greatest achievements and transformations in life are the result of many small steps taken over time. Patience in action is about honoring the process, celebrating small victories along the way, and understanding that each day, each moment is contributing to something much larger. It's easy to get discouraged when we don't see immediate results, but patience allows us to appreciate the small changes, the lessons learned, and the growth that takes place behind the scenes. Over time, these small steps accumulate, and before we know it, we look back and realize just how far we've come and become. The difficulty in this perspective lies in fully embracing the idea that the small moments or the mundane routines we experience today are not insignificant, but are essential building blocks of our journey.